Welcome in to the latest episode of Women's Basketball Now here on the Hoop Central YouTube channel. This is your host Hamilton Neal joining you as always, and today we have a very good show for you guys. Because today we're talking about transfers, we're talking about recruiting. And we're going to get things started off with some news about Piath Gabriel. She is headed from UConn to UMass. We're going to talk about the impact that transfer has on that program. We're going to talk about Amari flipping her commitment from Oregon to BYU. And then at the end of the show, some other recruiting notes as well. So again, we're going to get things started off by talking about UConn transfer Piath Gabriel. She is headed to play for UMass. Now this news came in about 3 weeks, around a month ago. She is a 6'5" forward, played 2 seasons at UConn, and in 35 appearances averaged 1.5 points and 1.1 rebounds per game. She did have a career-high 11 points at Xavier on February 18th of 2022. Entering college, she was the 23rd ranked player at her position. Not overall, but at her position in the 2020 recruiting class. And she was one of those players that was seen as a project at UConn, someone that they would have to really develop. But she really didn't get the time on the floor to develop, because UConn has so many other players to put out on the floor, and that was a very large 2020 class. And she is the second player from that class to leave. Mary McLean, 5-star prospect, she left. She went to Virginia. But now going into UMass, she has an opportunity to, I think, take a starting spot. At worst, she could be a 6th player for them. There is great potential here because at 6'5", she has strength, she can rebound, she can score the basketball if given an opportunity. And we saw when she did score at UConn, when she got the basketball, she went right to work. She cut, she was able to get to the hoop and score. So we have not really seen her come into her own yet and tap into her potential, but I really do feel like at UMass she has a chance to be really good, because we see this so much at UConn. Someone goes in and maybe they're not the highest ranked recruit and then they end up leaving. And again, 2 years for her were spent there at UConn, played 35 games, only averaged 1.5 points, 1.1 rebounds. And in that Xavier game, it was late in the contest. She did score a lot though. And if you watch the limited amount of film there is at UConn from Piath Gabriel, you do see the potential. If she can just play even 20 minutes a night, 25 minutes a night, she's going to be a really good player there for UMass. So that's some exciting news for her. Obviously, she's excited to go into that program. And for UConn, it's really no sweat. Gino Auriemma says, they can leave if they want to. I don't really care. Because they have some post reinforcements. They have Ice Brady there. Dorka Juhas is back. Aaliyah Edwards is back for a junior year. So UConn in the post should be fine. Now again, if they face South Carolina, that could be a different story. But against most other opponents, they're going to be fine. So UConn loses Piath Gabriel. She is headed there to UMass. Now let's talk about class of 2023 guard Amari. She is a 4-star prospect in this class. And right now, currently, in the ESPNW rankings, she is ranked 31st overall. 5'10". She is a big-time scorer. This past high school season averaged 26.9 points, 10.5 rebounds, 5.7 steals, 3.6 assists. But the big news with her is that she's flipped her commitment from Oregon to BYU. And we reported the news when she committed to Oregon. That was back in late 2021. And that commitment to Oregon was likely going to stick unless her mom, Amber, went into BYU, which is what happened. Amber Whitting is now the head coach for the Cougars. She replaces Jeff Judkins. And this coaching change had some very big repercussions. Not just with Whitting coming in, but Shaylee Gonzalez left due to Jeff Judkins stepping down. And now Amber Whitting comes in. It's a no-brainer. You're going to follow your parent to that school. We've seen it with many other prospects over the years, men's and women's as well. Parent, even an uncle, whoever it be. If a family member is on that staff, then there's a great chance that this is going to happen. And it's a big loss for Oregon, because I think had she went in there, she could have displayed that big-time scoring prowess. She is a high-energy type of player. Very good as a jump shooter. Perimeter player, again, playing that off-guard spot primarily. Not as much of a point guard, but again, has that ability to hang out on the wing, catch and shoot, off the dribble a little bit. And I think she'll continue to move up in the ESPNW rankings. Again, 31, I think that's a little low with the ceiling that she has and the upside that she has. So that is huge news for BYU, especially considering that they lost Shaylee Gonzalez. But again, this isn't until 2023. Amari Whitting will be coming in 2023. So that is some big news on the recruiting front, along with players taking visits, picking up offers, things like that. And that's the last thing that I want to cover here on this show, is some other recruiting notes with some other top prospects. And first, let's talk about Britt Prince. 5'11", five-star point guard in the class of 2024, currently ranked 11th overall by ESPNW. The amount of offers that she has picked up this summer, very, very impressive. Some of those from UCLA, USC, Oregon State, DePaul, Florida, Missouri, Mississippi State, and Belmont. And again, this is a player in Britt Prince who is being recruited by a number of other top programs. Just recently visited Oregon. They're especially going to lock in on her now that they lost Amari Whitting. And they're in different classes here. Whitting's in 23, Prince is in 24, but she could be a big part of the future backcourt there at Oregon if she goes there. Some other Pac-12 schools, UCLA, USC, getting in the mix. But again, UCLA, USC, only for the time being, are in the Pac-12. They're leaving in 24. So when she comes in, they're going to the Big Ten. But that's a whole nother conversation, again, when it comes to conference realignment. But at the point guard spot, she is very disciplined, is very poised, plays well beyond her years, distributes well, finds balance as a scorer along with that passing ability, and I think can continue to move up. I think she's a top 10 player in this class. And again, she's ranked 11th right now, but I think is someone who could be ranked anywhere between 6 and 10. You know, if I were ranking, I would have her probably around 6, 7, 8. I think she's that good in this class, and as far as point guards go, she's one of the best regardless of class. And now let's talk about Keziah Lofton. Keziah Lofton ranked 10th in the class of 2025, 5'11 guard, doesn't play that point guard spot, plays that shooting guard position. And some of her recent offers have come from Florida State, Ohio State, Miami, Kansas State, Oklahoma State, Texas A&M, and Mississippi State. And that's going from the last couple of weeks all the way back down to the start of the AAU season in April. So some of these aren't as recent, but that group of schools right there are some of the recent programs to offer her. And again, as we know, Florida State going through a coaching change. Sue Semrau retired, Brooke Wyckoff is taking over. Ohio State, they gave Kevin McGuff an extension. They're doing pretty well coming off of the postseason ban in 2020. Miami's a solid program right now. We know A&M has Joni Taylor at head coach. And there are a ton of other top programs recruiting Lofton, and she's one of the best players in the country. Again, at the off-guard spot, good cutter, good finisher, developing the jump shot and continuing to get better with that. Just her whole offensive package. I think it's starting to come through and develop. Again, these 2025s, they're really young. They still have a lot of developing to do. Long, long way to go before they're in college. So that is some of the stuff going on in women's college basketball, and this has been our latest episode of Women's Basketball Now. We thank all of our viewers for taking the time to tune into every single video. Continue to keep it locked here for all the latest news in women's college basketball, and we'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.